have good news and bad news. Actually, I have a lot of good news and a lot of bad news. I don't know which one to start with. I'm trying to start with good news, which is this background track, which is nice, calm, soothing, is called Heroes Never Die. Unfortunately, last night, Mike White pretty much died. Tough. I was so excited. If you watched yesterday's stream or YouTube video, or you watched the VOD or whatever, MikeTheMush on both Twitch and YouTube. I was so excited. And Mike White gets hurt, and I'm just reminded why I'm a Jet fan. That's how I feel. Also, last night's Mush picks. Weird. Weird. I teased the Jets up to plus 17. And that actually hit. Somehow. We'll talk about that in a second. What a miracle. I also took the Heat against the Boston Celtics, who have been awful. Now, the night before on Mush Picks, I faded the Celtics again with the Magic. And they were up a bunch and lost 31-10 in the third quarter. And I called it a fluke, and I was like, all right, well, Celtics are still bad. It's a back-to-back. Now they're playing a better team. They played the Heat last night. They're down in the first. We're cruising. I think they're down 9. The Heat are a definite playoff team. Way more talent. Everyone's healthy. And they lose the second quarter 33-9. Worse than the Magic the night before. What's going on? I know I'm a mush, but come on. Celtics just win one quarter a night and just dominate it, and that's how they win games? It's really annoying. 2 losses in a row on the Mush Picks. We can't have that. We can't have it. So there's more Mush Picks on the way. Plenty of them. We're going to do a whole recap of the football Sunday and Monday, I guess, but we'll probably get to that on Monday. The weekend's where the cheese is, and we're the mice. We did UFC picks yesterday, which I'm hyped for. It's at the Garden, UFC 268. So go back and watch that either on the videos tab of the Twitch channel or on the YouTube channel. You can find it all there. A bunch of picks. I'm psyched. I'll be at Madison Square Garden the day after on Sunday for the Knicks. That's kind of cool. But I want to get to football. Today might be a little bit of a quicker stream and video because there's good news. I said there was good news. The good news is 2 of my best friends are getting married today. So thankfully, I couldn't be in a bad mood if I tried. We love, and we get to celebrate. So as bad as the Jets are, and as much as they make my heart hurt, and as much as they make me just go, I've recovered at least 50% from the way I felt last night. That's great. If I went on stream last night, not as good. Sadness. But I needed to at least touch on it because Chef and Gab's bringing me back up. Congrats to them. I say that because I genuinely mean it and love you both, but I also say it to remind myself not to get too mad or upset while discussing the Jets in a minute. So we'll get there, but that felt important. First of all, I guess we'll open the box score, but I mean, this one's going to be tough. Let's see what we can do here. All right. You know when I knew there was a problem? The Jets jerseys with the black pants. I'm out on this. I didn't like it. The all black is different. Like, this is super ugly. That's not what they wore last night. Of course they don't have it. I mean, someone has it. Turn to Twitter. They have everything. Follow the Link podcast at @the_Link_podcast if you don't. That's my podcast. Can't spell. Someone's got to pick. I know they do. Yeah, bad one. Here, look at this. Make sure you can see it, yeah. They're just not nice. But whatever. All right, let's get past that. Go to the play-by-play. I was excited. I really... Watch yesterday's stream to see how excited I was. Maybe I shouldn't have been. I know, it's Mike White. He had one start. He's a backup. You never heard of him before. I get it. But also, this man threw for 400 yards in his first start against a really good defense who was red hot, a team that's a playoff team that's really good. He beats them on a holiday. I have nothing to be happy about being a Jets fan. I was psyched for the first Zach Wilson start. That wasn't going that well. He gets hurt. Down on your luck. Think you're going to get blown out by the Bengals. You don't. It's going super well. They win the game. Why wouldn't I get excited about having Mike White start on Thursday Night Football against a beatable team? Apparently not. Yikes. It's just, they build me up to break me down. It's all the Jets exist for. So annoying. So annoying. I hate it. Ugh. So they come out, they punt. They picked up a first down, I think, on the first drive. Yeah, they didn't get very far, and they punt. All right, not the best start in the world. And the Colts go down the field. 34-yard run from Hines. He just beats everybody. All right, broken plays happen. Okay. Here's where I get excited again. Mike White down the field to Elijah Moore, another draft pick from this year, who's starting to look really good, even though there's no quarterbacks involved. He hits Moore for 26, he hits Moore for 19, and a touchdown. And you're like, game's tied, we got momentum, the Jets are moving the football. Can't say that ever. They give up another touchdown right away, and the Colts are running all over them. Now, if you watched yesterday's stream or watched the YouTube video, and you should go back and do it if you haven't, I knew they were going to get run all over. I mean, the Colts are... Is Jonathan Taylor the best running back in the league now that Derrick Henry's out? Let's look at that. It'll be skewed because he's played an extra game. But we'll figure it out. Oh my God, look how insane Derrick Henry was. That he's only played 8, Taylor's played 9, Chubb has played 6. And Taylor is still, and Derrick Henry was hurt for the last game, and Taylor is still 116 yards behind him with an extra game and a non-injured game. And then everyone else is almost 250 yards behind that. So Taylor's been killing yards per game. It's Henry, Chubb, Taylor, Cook. But for some reason, Taylor looks fresher than Chubb. He's got 8 touchdowns to 4 here, yeah. And Cook is awesome, too. I have nothing bad to say about that. But, man, Taylor is, if you haven't been respecting him for what he's doing, he might be the best running back in the league right now. So, I knew he was going to run all over the place. I had him in fantasy. He scored like 34 points. It's good news. And then, so you're concerned, but you have a team that can move the ball. You're down 14-7. Okay. And then it happens. It's just... It's just awful. The Jets just can't have nice things. No matter what. Whether I should have been excited or shouldn't have been excited. Not the point. I was excited for one brief moment, and they ruined it. Just can't have nice things. I don't know. Maybe that's a mushing for me trying to get excited about the Jets and people knew. It just feels bad. Also, Marcus May got hurt, and I think he tore his Achilles. I mean, talk about adding... I don't know. Adding injury to insult, definitely. Adding injury to injury, definitely. And adding insult to insult, if we're being honest. Hey. So the Taylor thing was the only thing I was kind of right about. Also, I did tease it to plus 17, and they did cover that. The Heat didn't, so we lost the bet. I get it. But, ugh. Insane that they covered 17. They really almost covered the 10. I know we're skipping ahead here because, you know, how much can I talk about Josh Johnson football? Although, to be fair, for a third string, he has pro experience. There are worse third stringers out there. Hilarious that they traded a real pick, a 6th-round pick. They gave up a pick for Joe Flacco. He didn't even get in this game. Was he dressed? I didn't even see him. Josh Johnson comes in, throws 41 times. I know they're getting smoked, but he throws 3 touchdowns, 317 yards. Okay. I mean, they couldn't run the ball. They gave up 8.7. Their defense, you can't give up 45, and they gave up 50 before this, and you hired a defensive coach. I know Saleh doesn't have a lot to work with. I'm not saying fire him or anything like that, but I'm worried. You can't have a defensive coach give up 54, 31, 45. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. That's bad. 2 games on the road. These offenses are all semi-good. It's just... Look at these plays. Average of 12 yards per reception. Average of almost 9 yards per rush. They didn't force Wentz to throw a pick. They didn't force Wentz to turn it over at all. In fact, they didn't turn it over the whole game. I think they scored on like 7 straight possessions or something. 1, 2, 3, 4. They scored a touchdown on every possession in the first half. Then they turn it over on downs because they went for it on 4th and goal at the 2. Then touchdown, touchdown. They finally punt as the third quarter is about to end when they're up 42-16. Then score, then punt, then they kneel. Oh my God. They really almost covered here. They really, really did. You see them coming back because the Colts took their foot off the gas. And they're down 15. They get it with 3 minutes left in the fourth. Nobody fears a 3-minute drill from Josh Johnson more than Frank Wright and the Indianapolis Colts. You can clip that. They immediately tried to go 3 and out. Incomplete, incomplete, incomplete. Ryan Griffin, UConn football star, comes up big on 4th down. They hit Jamison Crowder. They're taking the underneath stuff. They're going 10 yards at a time. They're taking what they can get because the Colts just want the clock to run. 2-minute warning. They're around midfield. Another 6. They get intercepted, and I'm like, all right, that makes sense. Pass interference. We're moving. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to cover. In the office pool that I'm in, we pick every single, not that I work in an office, but we pick every single game. And I'm like, oh my God, I took the Jets plus the 10. A lot of people, I'm sure, did. Or if you're on the flip side, you were sweating it out. They get into the red zone after that, and Johnson gets picked again. And you're like, yep. We can't have nice things. We just can't have nice things. We can't have nice things.
Johnson, he drops the
when I say it 3 times, I expect Beetlejuice to come, but... Autoplay. Ugh. Is there a way to turn off autoplay on ESPN in general? Because if so, someone needs to teach me how to do that. Like I said, insane that they almost covered. This is the worst defensive game I've watched from a team in a long time. A really long time. Horrible. They gave up over 500 yards, I believe. Yeah. And they had 486 because of the garbage time, which is funny. You know, you even look at the drives, even against a soft defense, they still didn't match anything. Carson Wentz just shreds them. I started him in fantasy too, so subconsciously I probably knew somewhere deep down. I mean, 22 for 30 for 272, 3 touches and no picks. They're doing somersaults. So now both teams, I mean, Jets season is over. I don't even. Anytime I try to get excited about the Jets, someone come in the chat and slap me virtually. Especially for the rest of this year. Colts get the Jaguars on extra rest, so they're going to be looking at 5-5. They can go win that division. I don't think this team is bad. Then they have to go to the Bills, Bucks. This is tough. So you figure they're 5-7. They lose both these games. They beat the Texans. They're 6-7. Huge game against the Pats. Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. This is tough. This is tough because if they're 6-7 going into this game, and they have to, these 3 games are tough. You figure they got to win 2 of them, and then they got to win this. If they win 2 of these 3 against the Patriots, Cardinals, and Raiders, that brings them to 8-8 and 9-8 with the Jaguars win, and they could still do it. That's if they lose to the Bills, lose to the Bucks, and lose to one of these 3 teams. If they lose to 2 of those 3 teams, they're probably not making the playoffs. If they pull an upset in one of these, great. And if they lose to a bad team, they're definitely screwed. It's an uphill battle, but it's not over. And Tennessee, who knows how they're going to look. We'll go through the rest of the games in a minute, and then we'll give the picks. Only one basketball note I have because I'm trying to move quick and stick on topic for football today, but the Thunder beat the Lakers for the second time this season, so nothing makes sense at all. Everything is made up, and the points don't matter. So, I don't know. I can't even bring up the NBA beyond that today. LeBron didn't play, but woof. Just woof. If I could edit this, I would put a dog barking. You know, you get it. Woof. Clifford the dog. Big and red. We talked about this yesterday on stream too. The Browns did release Odell Beckham. I take a casual pause to sip my water, and then I turn off the autoplay. Why did they do this? I mean, I ripped them for it yesterday, and we're about to talk about all the games, so I'll bring this up, but what incentive? I mean, I know you waive him so you hope someone picks him up and then you don't have to pay him for the rest of the year, but if I'm a multi-billionaire owner who owns a football team, am I that concerned about the couple million that I planned on paying anyway? He's not going to get paid next year. They're off the hook for it. It's probably, I don't know how much left he's owed, and I don't feel like looking it up because it doesn't matter, but I thought I saw $9 million. Maybe it's even a little less because we're already pretty deep into the year. I'm not helping one of my opponents. I mean, look at the standings. I can't possibly help one of my opponents by giving them Odell Beckham for free when I'm in a playoff race. I'm 500. My team's banged up enough. I know he's not going to play, but I can't risk giving him to somebody. We went through it yesterday, so I don't want to overdo it, but he could go to the Saints. He could go to the Packers. He could go to not Dallas, but he could go to the Raiders for sure now that they lost Henry Ruggs to prison. Titans don't need him. Colts could use him. The Ravens could definitely use him in their own division. It's just weird. It's just weird. The Patriots could use him. Jets would be hilarious. I mean, please don't. I'm just saying there's a lot of teams that could really use this guy. And what about the Niners? You put him opposite Debo? Woo! West Coast offense? There's a lot of teams, playoff teams, or teams that are at least trying to make the playoffs, that can use Odell Beckham. And if you're giving him away for free, you're just plainly hurting yourself and nothing more. I don't get it. If I have billions of dollars, I don't do it. Rot at home, sit, don't play, go find a job next year, but we're not helping our opponents. This is a weird thing for the Browns. Maybe something happened that they need to distance themselves from, but if so, the story hasn't broke yet, and if so, I'm a Nostradamus. But I don't see that happening, so I don't get it. Another story, I mean, Darren Williams, let's see if it comes up when I Google him, because I'm pretty sure it's real. Oh yeah, he's gonna fight Frank Gore apparently. So that's a sentence I said in real life. 3-time NBA All-Star Darren Williams will fight on Jake Paul and Tommy Fury's undercard, according to Shams. I'm very rarely speechless, as you can probably tell. I haven't had a guest on this podcast at all, or the stream, yet. And I've filled it pretty well. This one, I don't know what to say. Is this a trick? Frank Gore could still play in the NFL, I feel like. It's got to be a trick. Also, I feel like Frank Gore's just bigger than Darren Williams. I mean, I can't believe I'm even doing this now. £216 at 5'9". He's a thick boy. Maybe he's slimmed down in the off seasons. I don't know. Darren Williams is 6'3", so he's got 6 inches on him. And he's 200 pounds. I mean, okay. Ali Frazier, I guess. What? We're not going to do too much time on this, but if this is a smokescreen so Frank Gore comes back and plays running back in the NFL, I said it first. I mean, totally ridiculous. Before we go to football picks, which I want to zoom through, we did UFC picks yesterday, like I said. So if you're interested in that, I'm not going to redo it. Go back to the Twitch VOD or the YouTube video, and you'll find them there. Big card, good stuff, good parlay. Trevor Whitman's the best coach in the UFC. Okay, let's do this. We're going to pick every game, but at the end, I will give my official picks. So stay tuned for that. We'll go right down the list, I guess. Houston, Miami. This line has moved. I love Houston in this game. Tyrod Taylor is back, and people are not factoring that in. There's a world where Houston wins this game. Definitely. I don't know if I'm going to bet that, but I would definitely take them with the points. I think they can win. I think they might be pretty similar teams. Maybe Miami's a little bit better, but with Tyrod's not bad. He's really not bad. We're used to them playing with Davis Mills. It's not going to be the same. They're going to run around. They're going to do weird stuff. Ingram's not there, but they have Burkhead. They have a couple of guys that can move. I just see them actually moving the football, and Miami doesn't do anything for me. To take Miami to cover almost a touchdown is wild to me in any capacity. They're 1-7 or whatever they are. They're 1-7. No. Give me Houston. Tyrod comes back. I think if you want to get really sneaky, you could take that money line. If you wanted to do like a real underdog money line parlay kind of thing to try to hit for huge odds, maybe you throw Houston in that, but definitely take them with the points. I mean, that feels like a no-brainer to me. Denver, Dallas. This spread got huge because Dak announced that he's going to play. It started at 7.5 when it was unsure, but I think the possibility of Dak playing in this was still baked in. I don't know if this was a Cooper Rush line. At 10, I still take them. I think Denver's bad. I just think they're bad. They traded Von Miller. Their morale has to be pretty low after doing that. I can't imagine they're super psyched after one of their best players and emotional leaders and Super Bowl champions gets traded, captain. Dallas is just way better. They're going to move the football. They're going to score. There's not really any weaknesses in their team. They will turn Denver over probably. I know they gotten a little lucky with the interceptions and all that kind of jazz, but this just seems like it could be a rout, and I'd rather be on the Dallas side. I know 10 points is a lot, but give me Dallas, and we'll sneak them into one of the picks later. Maybe on the money line, even if it's bad. You can parlay it, or you can tease them down to maybe 3. There's options for Dallas, but they should win that game. You should feel comfortable with them. Minnesota, Baltimore is a weird one. They both have offensive linemen out of this game as far as I know, some because of injury, some because of COVID. So I guess I'm just going to even that out. I mean, who knows? They both do want to run the football. They both can throw the football. They both have weapons. These teams are not equal. Baltimore is much better. The line is probably, I think it probably should be 7 and not 6 because Baltimore is coming off a bye, yeah? Let me just double check that. They lost to the Bengals. They get smoked, right? Motivation all-time high. They get smoked going into a bye and come out at home against the Vikings. Now, the Vikings are also coming off of a loss, and not a good one, to Cooper Rush. That was at home. But they didn't get the bye. That makes a big difference to me. You can take the week to swallow the loss, to turn it around and say, okay, we need to get things going. We need to run all over this team, smash them if you're Baltimore. If you're the Vikings, you're still in that first week lull. This was a night game. It just feels like there's a little less time for them, a lot less time. And the Ravens are just, I think, the more physical team. And I can just see this getting away from Minnesota. I also trust Minnesota to blow any game ever, generally. I just like Harbaugh coming off the bye. I think it's safer. Latavius Murray's up in the air, but does it matter? Rashad Bateman has been really good for them, underrated. He has the bye to get ready. He's healthy. I think they work him in. their receivers aren't bad when you think about Marquise Brown scoring a touchdown every week, catching 50-yard passes, and then Bateman is a first-round pick coming up, and then you have Sammy Watkins as a third. I don't know if he's going to play. Not that it matters all that much. He did return to practice. He might play. That's all of a sudden 3 guys that you're like, okay, it's not corpse of Des Bryant out there. And the Vikings' weapons might be better. They have Jefferson and Thielen. They can put up big plays. And Cook, obviously they can score. I don't think this will be a low-scoring affair. I just see the Ravens controlling the clock very much. And since the spread is 6, this is right in teaser land. Teaser territory. Teaser Town. That's the one. Teaser Town. We're going to Teaser Town. We'll get there for the picks at the end. But I like Baltimore even minus the 6. I just see a world where they run all over the place, control the clock, and dominate. This game is really weird. New England, Carolina. Why hasn't the spread gotten bigger in this one is a question, because it opens at minus 2.5 and it's at minus 3.5. What am I not getting? Because Carolina is not good at all. They're really bad, and we are talking about a Carolina team that might have Christian McCaffrey back, but it's not really looking great. And I know I'm doing this a little early. He might play. He might not play. Okay, I'm not going to factor this in because I won't know until Sunday, and neither will anyone else. However, whether he plays or not has no bearing on how I make this pick. And that's a rare take. He should have some kind of bearing. But we are talking about either Sam Darnold, who's injured. So an injured Sam Darnold, who already saw ghosts against Bill Belichick many a time. I've seen it. It's not good. We don't need to do another Jets segment. Or PJ Walker, who I liked in the XFL, but he has looked completely outmatched anytime he stepped on the field. He's 3 for 15. These 2 guys are going to beat Bill Belichick? And a Patriots team that's starting to really feel themselves? Why would that happen? Sam Darnold! I mean, why is the spread only 3? I really think the Panthers are very bad. They're 4-4, but that team, their defense is solid. Don't get me wrong. It really is. But I don't see how they really score, and New England is starting to run that football big. They score 50 on the Jets. They lose a close one to the Cowboys. They competed with the Bucks. They competed with the Saints. They've never gotten blown out, ever. They lost to the Dolphins, which is a bad one. First week, whatever. They take care of business against bad teams like the Jets, and I think the Panthers are closer to the Jets than any of the other opponents that they've faced. They're not as good as the Cowboys, and they're definitely not as good as the Chargers, and New England just beat the Chargers on the road. It's 2 road games in a row, but if anyone knows how to handle that, it's Bill Belichick. I don't understand this one. It will be one of my picks. It's so fishy to me. The only thing that I'm worried about is that the line hasn't moved more. So, also another landing spot potentially for Odell Beckham, but we already talked about that. So that's the only reason I don't want to lay the 3.5, because someone knows something about Carolina, and I don't get it. I don't get it. But I absolutely trust that one of the quarterbacks for Carolina, at best, will blow this. At work, just wanted to say I miss Mike White. Dude, Porky. I miss him too, man. It's been a long time since I've seen him. It's been, I don't know. The math is hard. 14 hours. He threw that one touchdown. We talked about it. I mean, catch the rest of the video that you missed earlier on YouTube, MikeTheMush. But man, it's tough out here being a Jets fan. I feel you, Pork. I'll see you later, bud. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not taking Sam Darnold or PJ Walker against Bill Belichick. I'm just not doing it. I'll take the money line instead. I think it's minus 185. We'll talk about that at the pick section. Let's keep it rolling. And we roll into Buffalo, Jacksonville, where we don't want to be. Nobody wants to be here. Nobody wants to watch this game. I'm not even going to talk about it or think about it. In this kind of situation, I'm just giving the points. I don't care what the points are. It doesn't matter, because if I take Jacksonville and Buffalo goes 80 yards for a touchdown on the first drive, you're already like, why did I bother to do this? No. Just give me Buffalo, and whatever the line is, I mean, hopefully they cover it. I don't know. I wouldn't bet that game, but there's a good chance Buffalo wins by 40, and I just won't touch Jacksonville in any capacity. Urban Meyer's a disaster, a dumpster fire. He needs to be fired. Not for the cheating on his wife thing, which is not great, but, you know, he's just a bad football coach. The John Gruden effect. Fire him because he's bad, and also fire him because he's a douche. Cleveland-Cincinnati is one of the better games of the week, actually. Cincinnati coming off that bad loss to the Jets. And the Browns coming off a bad loss to the Steelers. This mirrors Ravens and Minnesota. I don't all the way know what to do with this game, but here's what I'll say. Cincinnati's healthier. Baker Mayfield is hurt. Odell Beckham is not with the team. In fact, he might have been released by the time the game kicks off. Jarvis Landry's back at practice, but he's hurt. Nick Chubb's been hurt. They're banged up. Cincinnati's relatively healthy. And yeah, and they got embarrassed, but maybe for a young team with a young quarterback, this is a wake-up call that they should have won. They blew a game late. They had it in control. And if they're coming off of this win here, if the Jets don't ever come back and the Bengals win by 14, this spread is probably not 2. Why is it 2.5? I mean, it was anyway. It has. Oh no, it's gone back to 2.5. Yeah, it started at 3 and has gone back to 2.5. For what reason? What faith is there in the Browns? Yeah, this game could be close. It's a divisional game. The teams are roughly even, I guess. But why? What prompts this line movement? I can't give up the hook on either side, I don't think. So for that reason, I like Cincinnati, and I think crossing 0 on a teaser is a little bit of a death sentence because the 0-1 and the 0-1 don't matter that much. But man, I do like Cincinnati getting 3 or 4. We'll get back to that. Give me the Bengals, but they lost to Mike White, and who can blame him for it? The guy's a Hall of Fame quarterback, legitimately, and would have diced up the Colts in a complete shootout. Jets would have won 50-45. It would have been so good. I miss him. Vegas against the Giants is another game I couldn't touch this if you really wanted me to. I don't know. Who did I take in my pool just for reference? I have the Giants for now. That could change. Leaking picks if you're watching and you're in this pool. There's hundreds of people in it. I guess I have the Giants for now just because I don't know what to do with it, so I'm taking the points at home. I don't know how... This is the second big annoying thing that has happened to Vegas. Last time they rallied and they won that game after Gruden gets fired. They're coming 2 wins. This game was a blowout and just looks closer than it is. Same with this one. After losing to the Bears, Gruden gets fired here, and they've been gangbusters. They beat 2 bad teams. They're facing another bad team. I get it. They might win, but without Ruggs' 50-yard play per game and the potential for that 50-yard play, I do worry about what that might mean. I like Bryan Edwards. If you're a fantasy player or you like prop betting, I think Bryan Edwards is going to take a huge step forward for them. He hasn't been used as much as he probably should. Targets, of course, Waller. Is he fully healthy? Yeah, it seems that way. He should be playing. Yep. And if he gets covered by James Bradbury, Bradbury's really good, but Waller's much bigger. I don't know how good that is, but of course he's their best receiving threat, so I don't know who else you would put him on without Ruggs out there. Edwards has 31 targets on the year, just behind Ruggs, and his stats aren't that different. He's really good. And Renfro underneath, Waller over the middle, and if you can get Edwards going outside, the offense isn't dead. It's not dead. They need another receiver, and this is another landing spot for Beckham. Also, it would make the most sense in the world if Odell Beckham went to the Raiders. Come on, I'm speaking it into existence. But, yeah, the Raiders are the better team here. It's just so much turmoil. They can lay eggs at any time. They only put up 9 against the Bears. And, I don't know. I could switch this, admittedly. So don't put too much stock into it. This game is too close. They are 3-point favorites. This implies that they would be -9 if the game were at home, probably. which is probably a little high. I think it might be 7 or 8, just off of feel. So I don't know, but I have the Giants for now just because it seems a teensy bit high, and they seem to hang around with people somehow for some reason. And if you can shut down Waller somehow, then the offense looks a lot better. Also, Vegas tends to fall behind early a lot and then come back and win. They haven't done that the past 2 weeks, but we saw it earlier in the year. So we'll see. That I would stay away from this one. Atlanta, New Orleans. This is another spread that is weird, but okay, so Atlanta's bad, right? But they're bad in the fact that they blow every single game that they're actually in. Most of the time, they get blown out by the Eagles, which is insane because the Eagles are terrible. And the Falcons are terrible, don't get me wrong. They get blown out by the Bucs, but this game was really close. This game was 25-28 at the end of the third. So they really just blew this one. They blew it badly, but they blew it. They beat the Giants in late. They hang with Washington. They beat the Jets. They beat the Dolphins. They hang with the Panthers. So they would have covered 6 in... Spread's exactly 6, right? Let's go back and check that. 6.5 in some places. If you can get that, it's beautiful. If it's 6, they still push here, cover, cover, cover. Don't cover. This is the Bucs. It's different, and this was the first game of the year, but... There's a path to them covering against Trevor Siemian. Taysom Hill is not starting. They said Trevor Siemian's starting, unless that changes. Kamara could do anything he wants, definitely. It just feels like it's so much more likely that this game is close for a while. Maybe New Orleans pulls away, goes up 10. Atlanta scores. It's a close game. They have a field goal to win it, and it gets blocked or something. I don't know. Like, if they're down 2, somehow they're going to blow the game. Or they hit that field goal. There's 30 seconds left, and Trevor Siemian goes down the field to Alvin Kamara for 80 yards, and they score. And, something weird where Atlanta blows it at the end. But in that scenario, give me the 6. I know Calvin Ridley is gone, so Atlanta might just look flat and dead. It's possible. But I don't know. This is me just trusting that they'll play in a close game and blow it like they do every single week. And if that's the scenario, I guess give me the 6. I can't bet Trevor Siemian is a 6-point favorite. I just can't do it. Yeah. I'm not psyched about it, but give me Atlanta. Afternoon games, there are only 3. Spreads are out for next week, too, but we don't have time for that, sadly. We'll take a quick peek, maybe. If I can move fast. Chargers, Philly. This one's weird because the Chargers are way, 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 way better than the Eagles and coming off of a bye, right? So, 2 losses. This was a really bad loss where their run defense got exposed, and we found out they're the worst run defense in the league. We already looked that up in a previous stream, so I don't have to do it again. It's true. The Patriots ran all over them, but that game was close. Now they go to the Eagles. You have to win this game. The division is absolutely up for grabs with the Chiefs struggling and the Raiders, who knows what they're doing and who knows what happens in that Giants game. So you have to win. You do have to win. I've flipped on this a little bit. I really have. At first, I was like, you know what? Give me the Eagles because I've seen that these Chargers cannot stop the run at all. And the spread has gone down a little because of it. So since the spread has gone down to 1.5 and 1 in some places, which I'm sure is because they know the Chargers can't stop the run and Philly's going to run all over the place, even if it's Jordan Howard or whoever it is, Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, whoever. They're going to run the football. Hurts is going to run the football. And they're going to probably do it successfully. Now, here's what I like about the Chargers. They're better. Their offense is way, way better. And they did have the bye week to address some issues. Can they fix that in one bye week? I doubt it. I don't think they brought anyone in or anything. I thought they should have traded for a defensive tackle or a linebacker or something. They stood pat. And that was during the bye. Does that mean anything? I don't know. It could mean that they have something in place and they're addressing it. You have to, at least if you're coaching at all, you have to look at the team and say, we need to fix this and we have a week to do it. So since this has gone down and I don't need to give 3 anymore, the money line is probably minus 120, 125, even up towards 130, I'd take it. So just give me the Chargers to win the game. And if they get run all over the place, fine. I don't think I would bet it, but that would be my pick. And I think the spread here was 2.5, and I think I'm going to take them. I'm uneasy about it, but coming off the bye, I think I just have to trust Herbert that he gets it together. Yeah, Justin Jones might come back, help a little bit. I mean, they need all the help they can get, but they had the bye week. That's important. Teams look different after a bye week. They get healthier. They get a little better. There's a reason that it helps. And the Eagles, they're not good. They're 3-5. They beat up on the Lions. Big deal. They did run all over them, so they're tipping their hand. We know what the game plan is going to be. They don't have to tip their hand. Everyone's going to run on the Chargers. So maybe they control the clock. It's possible. This is why I wouldn't bet on this game. For pool purposes, give me the Chargers just because the spread is dropped, and if you can get it at 1.5, I'm cool with that. I feel more comfortable with them winning the game. I don't know what will happen. It's the Chargers. They're almost Vikings and Browns-esque, as they'll try to blow everything. But still, there's a 4:05 game, so you'll get to see the first quarter of this one before the other ones kick off, and it'll end before the others, which I love. 2 4:25 games, Green Bay, Kansas City. There's not a ton to do with this. Blake Bortles, the boat, got signed by the Packers. So there's that. I think that happened because if Jordan Love randomly tests positive late, either tonight, Saturday, or Sunday morning, or goes into protocol of some kind, because he could have been around Aaron Rodgers is a prevailing thought that I've seen around on Twitter and the universe, that Bortles could be forced into this game. In any case, the spread has jumped from 2.5 to 7. That makes sense. I think it should have jumped higher. Aaron Rodgers is the heart and soul of this team. Devontae Adams still hasn't been cleared. It sounds like he might play. We'll see as we get closer, and the video's already out there, so do what you can with that. And just imagine me editing in the truth here. Thought bubble. I don't know. Give me the Chiefs, I guess, against a backup quarterback. I got them at 2.5 in this because the spreads are locked where they open. And if that's the case in your pool, then definitely take them. Always look at the line movement. That's a big deal. I think by game time, this will probably be up to 8, 9, maybe even 10. I don't know why it hasn't moved more. People are scared of the Chiefs. I understand that, but and who knows? Jordan Love is an unknown. I mean, I don't think I'll be betting money on this game. But for pool purposes, I'll fade the backup quarterback and take the Chiefs at home, because if they can't take care of business here, then they can't take care of business anywhere, and that might be the case, but who cares? Let's move on. You can't go crazy over the Chiefs. You don't bet them. You don't bet against them. You just watch and see what chaos unfolds. That's my motto for the Chiefs right now. Arizona, San Francisco, another weird one with injury news. Kyler Murray's hurt. We don't know if he's going to play. As of right now, I don't think he has practiced. Let's look at Twitter. Follow the link _podcast. Hopkins been hurt too. Latest on Kyler Murray. It would be Colt McCoy. 39 minutes ago, no Kyler Murray in the open part of Friday practice. Kyler and Cliff Kingsbury both said he could play without practice this week. Maybe this is all on purpose just to give him as much rest as possible, and then he jumps in. In any case, I don't feel psyched about taking a banged-up Kyler Murray. We saw him at the end of last year get banged up with the shoulder, which I believe is hurt again, and then lower body injury also. So he's expected to play, but we go back to last year, and it started to get a little ugly. They lose to the Rams, they beat the Giants and the Eagles, who stink, and then they lose to San Francisco and lose to Los Angeles late. The wheels fell off after the bye week. Look at this. Look at all those red L's. It's not what you want. So it's enticing to take the 7-1 team against a 49ers team that seems to struggle sometimes and look better other times. Another possible landing spot for Odell. But I can't rightfully take... Yeah, this line has moved a lot. Look at this. San Francisco now -2.5. They're expecting Kyler not to play. And if that's the case, you take San Francisco to win, I'm sure. Or you stay away from it, I guess. There's too much unknown for me. If you want to come back on Sunday, see what the spread is and let it rip there, that makes sense. And we'll be back on Monday, obviously. Every weekday, MikeTheMush on Twitch and YouTube. We'll recap on Mondays all these games, the whole slate. For now, Give me San Francisco just because I'm scared of the injuries that Arizona have. And Deebo Samuel's unbelievable, so at the very worst, he could put up 150 and 2 touches. But, yeah, San Francisco will run the ball, and Arizona might have Colt McCoy, who I actually like, but not that much. Night game. Titans, another team. This is a weird week. You got to be very careful with this week, in my opinion. There's been a lot of injuries. Tennessee, another team that we don't know what they're going to look like at all without Derrick Henry. I like Jeremy McNichols. I think they'll use him. Adrian Peterson apparently is going to be active for this game, although he hasn't practiced or played in the NFL at all in a year. It's hard not to take the Rams. I mean, this spread went up from 4 to 7, 7.5. It'll probably go even higher. Julio's still banged up. He says he's going to play. They're going to have to let it rip through the air to A.J. Brown and Julio and Ferkser and whoever else. Is Tannehill a guy I'm comfortable with that? He's not awful, but he's facing a vicious defense that now has Von Miller. They're home. They're going to be motivated in a night game. Tennessee under the bright lights when they don't actually know what to do with their team without Derrick Henry. A coach that has made questionable decisions at some times. I don't deny that they'll be motivated. I just think they might be outgunned here. And when Cooper Kupp does what Deebo Samuel does, both on my fantasy team, by the way, I don't know how they keep up. Let's say that A.J. Brown and Cooper Kupp do the exact same thing. And let's say that Robert Woods, I guess if Robert Woods and Julio can cancel each other out, then what are we talking about? I just foresee more problems with the Tennessee offense having to deal with Ramsey, Donald, and Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd, and all those guys, Tyler Rapp. And Tennessee's defense doesn't do anything for me. They lost to the Jets. I know they had a lot of offensive players out. Their defense still lost to the Jets, and that was without Mike White, who's a full Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah, I mean, to think that the Jets have beaten Tennessee and the Bengals this year is just... Whew. Almost got a Josh Johnson win. I don't know. This spread seems a little high to me, honestly, but I can't, in good conscience, take Tennessee without Derrick Henry, knowing what he means to them, both on the field and emotionally. I just don't understand what kind of headspace they're going to be in. Maybe this is a game where they're just super motivated and they look good, and even if it's a disaster in a couple later games, they could get up for this game going on the road under the bright lights. A.J. Brown shows out. Maybe they throw some long bomb touchdowns. I get that argument. I do get that. I'm going to take the Rams just because I believe more in their defense than Tennessee's, and I'm worried about the Henry thing. He's worth, most of the time, non-quarterbacks probably aren't worth many points. I think Henry's probably worth 2 points, at least, maybe 3. He's their whole offense. He's the best running back in the NFL. He's the best running back we've seen in the NFL in a long time. So if he's worth 3, that's where you get from the opening line of -4 to -7, and that makes sense. I still might have taken the Rams at -4 at home against the healthy Titans because I just don't necessarily believe in their defense, and Stafford can do damage to them. So this is a game where they can go up big, force Tennessee to throw. I guess that's not as bad anymore since they don't even want to run it as much anyway, but it just feels like the Rams are up 21-0 in every game I watch. They know how to stomp teams out, and I like that. So I'll lay the 7. I don't think I'm going to bet it. Chicago-Pittsburgh, I just hate this game so much that I don't even want to talk about it, and we still have a stream on Monday to talk about that, so we'll come back to that. I don't know. If you even want to watch this game, God bless you. I will, because I'm sick. But... Okay. Mush picks time. The full webcam as we wrap. Mush picks of the week. Let's see how bad we can blow this. 2 losses in a row on these. We did well in football last week, though. Go back and watch the VODs. Where do we begin? I like a teaser. I like a parlay. And I like one straight-up bet. And I recommend them all. The teaser is the Ravens. They are right now -6. I got them earlier, so I got it at +1.5 on the tees, but you can get it at Moneyline for sure. The Bengals, wherever you can get that, they're probably going to be, +3 or +4 since the spread is 2.5 or 3. And then I like the Rams at the money line, which we just discussed. The 3-team 6-point tease. Basically, the Ravens just have to win. The Bengals should win, I think, against the Browns, but that should be a close game, and you're getting them at +3 or +4. And the Rams to win against the Titans in the night game, which gives you a reason to watch that and stay up late. And the beauty is you get +140 for that on the 3-team tease rather than a 2-team tease, which I normally like. So give me that 3-team tease, Ravens, Bengals, Rams at +140. Then I like a parlay. The Cowboys money line. We already talked a lot about it. I think they're just way, way better than Denver. I know it's a steep money line. I got it at -450. I'm not exactly sure where it will be when you watch this, but it's a steep one, but it should be very, very safe. The Ravens at home against Minnesota. They're a team. They're an anchor team for me. I just love them this week, so I'm taking the money line with that. And again, the Rams. I got it at -375. We'll see. That line hasn't moved that much, so you should get it somewhere roughly around there. So it's basically similar to the teaser that we just put out, but the parlay has the Cowboys instead of the Bengals, which is a pretty big difference. And you're getting all money lines, and it's +118. So positive odds. And then the only other bet that I really like, we talked a lot about this, and I recommend getting in on this. You can get you can get the New England money line. I got it at -185. You can get it somewhere under -200, hopefully. We'll see if that balloons, if people catch on. But give me Bill Belichick against Sam Darnold or PJ Walker, or the combination of both. I don't care if McCaffrey's in the backfield. Give me that, and I don't have to pay insanely steep odds. The only reason I'm not laying the points, the 3.5, is just because it's fishy that it hasn't gone up more. So I'm a little scared of like a late loss, and everyone goes, see? Vegas wins. Meanwhile, we would still win on the money line if you take it. So that's it. Teaser, Ravens, Bengals, Rams. Parlay, Cowboys, Ravens, Rams. And then the Patriots money line is a little sweetener. If you're really, I'm not going to do this, I don't think, but if you really like the underdogs, give me the Houston money line. I think Tyrod Taylor might win that game. I do. I can see that. So, if you're trying to get a little frisky. I'm going to wrap it up there. Yeah, we're live in the afternoon. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap, but live in the afternoon is fun. Maybe we'll mess with the schedule a little bit as we go along. I like the 5 p.m. starts because it gets going before sports start. So if you're into that, you can kind of warm up into your sports day with me. But let me know if you have any feedback. Write it in the Twitch chat. Comments of the YouTube, twitch.tv/MikeTheMush, YouTube MikeTheMush, Mike Mush Sports on Twitter and Instagram. Follow it all. Check it out. Follow. Subscribe, that's the word I'm looking for, and hit the bell so you get notified when I go live. You can join the Discord. You can find the link to that on the Twitch About page, and you'll get notifications there for when I go live and when a new YouTube video is posted. So you got noties all over the place. There's no excuse to miss it. Check it out. Follow the picks. I hope you don't get mushed this weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. We love, and that's a wrap. I'll see you Monday. Peace out. I still love you, Mike White.